Hello, welcome to AHareOverAHill. I am here, Hare. Um, so, in accordance to that draft video that you saw, weirdly enough, draft is not my preferred format. Oddly enough, it is Commander. So today I'm actually bringing you a deck tech of, um, as you can probably see down in the a Commander deck of my Kami of the Crescent Moon. Uh, so although I'm not really a Kami player, blue player, I really love this deck. Definitely if I'm playing against people that I may not have directly played against prior, but this deck really is a fairly fun deck. I would people that usually don't play I play against with this deck, like, oh yeah, it's a group hug deck. And to help demonstrate that brings me into the first section actually. If you want to see a full deck list, leave a comment down below and I don't actually have one, so leave a comment down below if you want to actually see the full deck list and I'll make something up and leave it in the description if there's enough want for it. But like I said, this to the people who've never played against this deck, it's a group hug deck by the need of Kami, but also the other cards in this deck, which are which include things like uh, Jace Balerion, Otherworldly Atlas, Temple Bell, Howling Ground, Howling Mine, and Dictate of Crucifix, which these guys do the same thing as Kami, Temple Bell, tap it, draw a card. Otherworldly Atlas, tap put a charge counter, or tap it to draw. Everyone draws a card equal to the number of charge counters. And Jace Balerion, I primarily use him for his +1 ability to allow everyone to draw. Yeah, it's a mono blue. Being mono blue who group hug. Obviously, I had to have some amount of like uh, counter magics, even though I'm not a blue player classically. I do have quite the quite the stack of counter magics. Things like the kind arcane denier to at least allow whoever I counter to draw. Counterspell to which is a outright classic. I have Remand to actively give me back to give back the counter spells. Um, then I go into things like Fierce Guardianship as really my only free counter spell. Uh, Rewind as a pseudo free counter spell. Uh, Insidious Wheel acting as like either a counter target spell, choosing new targets for a spell, or actively just making a copy of the spell of the instant of sorcery and choosing new targets thusly. Then I these three are actually came in clutch a few times. Disallow, uh, Stifle, and Squelch. These guys are pretty much disallow for countering spells, activated abilities, and triggers. Stifle to counter activated abilities and triggered abilities. Squelch to counter activated abilities and drawing a card. Uh, so I can primarily act as a like, okay, let's stop some needed abilities. The last three counter spells are actually going to show the true attention of this deck. Uh, Counterman, which not a lot of people may know about, didn't say please, and Dot Collapse. Didn't know. Both, all of them are counter target spell. And then you Counterman is counter mirror 4. That person mirrors 4. And then say please is a 3 CMC guy that says counter target spell its controller mirrors 3. So yeah, like I said, that actually leads into the main theme of the deck, which is uh, mirror. Uh, it has the like group hug aspect, um, and help digging through your opponent's decks a little bit quicker, which can end the games quicker. Uh, but one of the main things is really the draw is all of the meal that's going on. So we have some classicals of Divine Clock, Keying Stone, which just saw a reprint, and uh, Tristan in Mindbreaker, which a lot of people may not just saw a just actively which just came into existence, which is whenever it attacks, the defending player mirrors half the deck rounded up, with unoff being one blue, blue, blue. So yeah, it's just getting in there. Other mirror options I have is, which in part makes sense, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Traumatize, and Maddening Cacophonies. Uh, Tasha's and Maddening mirrors everyone, with for a bunch of cards. The Traumatize mirrors down one person, and if you combine that with Keying Stone, and if your opponent has at least one card in graveyard, lights out. And the last three like meal cards that I directly play um, for the meals are um, Psychic, Psychic Corrosion, Sphinx's Tutelage, and Fairy's Tutelage, all acting as meal. And because I'm drawing so much, a lot of the meal actually offers that. And to really get in for into most of the support cards, um, I go with a fair amount of cantrip cards, both 1 CMC, 2 CMC, and a few other draw spells, such as Preordain, Thought, Thought Scowl, which again acts as a target person mirrors X cards, mirrors to the new draw card, so it helps with that. Ponder, Serum Visions, uh, then we have Peak and Visions of Beyond, and considering that I'm mailing people, Visions can sometimes just be a 1 mana draw 1, or it can be a 1 mana draw 3. So, which can be quite nice. I have Cataxian Pro, potentially free draw, uh, Opt, Scry 1, draw 1, uh, Illusions of Choice, acting as a cantrip mostly, but if you, this I think is an underwhelming card that a lot of people forgot about. Its effect is basically you choose how each player votes this turn. So if you're in a meta that has that somebody is playing a voting deck or you're playing a voting deck, Illusion of Choice might be an interesting choice for your deck. And the last two major cantrips that I'm playing is Gush, potentially free draw spell, in con- yeah, continuity plan, which is proliferate draw card for 2, a generic and a blue. So I do play around with a number of tokens. Clearly, you could have seen through that through the Otherworldly Atlas and the Grindstone. Those two cards really offer uh, tokens, but I also draw a fair amount. Oh, and two more cantrips. Cantrips, Mass Draw, Blue Sun Zenith, uh, target somebody Mass Draw, and I can potentially get infinite mana, and just, oh yeah, draw your entire deck and you lose immediately. And then I have Prosperity for a blue X. Each player draws X cards, so it's again leans into that group hug element that I was talking about earlier. And with I do have like just in case if I'm running out of dead space, I do have Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, and a Laboratory Maniac as a backup. Um, Backup options. I'm playing quite the number of mana rocks in terms of Midnight Clock, potentially also shuffling my uh, graveyard back into my deck and drawing a fresh hand, solving nothing all that weird. Thought Vessel for no maximum hand size, Dark Steel Ingot, Gilded Lotus, Sky Diamond, Chromatic Lantern, Commander Sphere, Warren's Power Stone. The last two might seem a tad bit odd. The Cultivator's Caravan, it's a 3 mana walk. And the Astro Cornucopia, XXX, and for X you get a number of charge counters, and then you get to tap it to add X mana, where X is the number of charge counters on it. Again, I'm playing a fair amount with tokens. Um, Clearly, by playing things like Jace Balerion and Jace Vince Prodigy, Jace Field of Mysteries, I am playing quite a bit of support. And then to really round out the deck, I'm playing a number of like spam utility spells. Uh, like I said earlier, that I have potentially infinite mana. That's coming through Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal. With the uh, Isochron Scepter, I can at least put anything else on it, like a Counterspell, uh, Remand onto it, and or any of my cantrips to potentially just continuously draw. But like that's getting into the utility stuff. The rest of this is fairly uh, uh, somewhat self-describing. Um, Harry's ageless insight and holistic studies. Um, Ageless Teferi's doubles down is almost like a consecrated sphinx that it helped doubles down on my draw. Any draws that I might have. With the holistic study just adding potentially even more draws. I don't exactly consider them cantrips, but they can be happening along the road. Cyclonic, just in case I need a protection. A lot of blue decks play it, so obviously it's obvious. Uh, Flux Channeler, again, I'm playing a lot of stuff with tokens, and whenever I cast an on-creature spell, I proliferate, so that's always useful. Uh, Jace, Unraveler of Secrets, +1 is an opt, so I can cantrip off of his plus ability, -2 is unsummon, and if I for some reason get to ultimate him, I get a emblem that basically reads counter the first spell that all of your opponents may play. So that's like a lot of people don't exactly want that seeing getting off, but those first two abilities aren't that strong. Then Teferi Temple Pilgrim acting as a mostly as a way to because I'm drawing a lot, he can gain a lot of extra protection, and his Seal ability of drawing a card is great. Potential protection through his -2, and his -12 acts as a almost like a one-person cyclonic rift. So it's like that person is potentially becoming a player of some pseudo restart. Then the rest of this is somewhat self-explanatory. Elixir of Immortality, just in case I need a reshuffle. If I'm burning through a lot of my spells, and I just need like I need to get these back, or somebody's forcing me to discard. Let's get them back. Then for Dark and Ori, give everything flash. Unwinding Clock act as a untapping all my mana rocks so I can just keep things going. Vence's Journal acting as a giving me a life buffer and again a no maximum hand size. Uh, Lux Cannon potentially as a um, giving me actual destruction options for any permanent. So it's a slow start, but again with proliferating, with unwinding clock, it gives me options. And the Meek Stone, the original Meek Stone, things with power 3 or greater cannot untap. So it's mostly the power that there's and oddly enough, this is the in terms of land count, this is the lowest that my any of my commanders actually have. 32 lands, a quite the number of basic land islands. Uh, Lowest field just acting as a potentially a like. Oh look, I can tap add to from my two lands that do things, then sacrifice them for a Lotus field, and I have had like a Lotus field out on the field with like three other tap lands, and it's like, and I can cast Rewind, untapping all this stuff and including my Lotus field, and I'm actually going up in mana. Seed of the Synod and Darksteel Citadel. I don't do much with affinity for artifacts in this deck, but having it for Unwinding Clock is at times actually quite nice. Just to be like, oh yeah, these two lands also untap. So yeah, then Fairy Conclave, just in case I need a creature, though I think I might be replacing that with just a basic island at some point. Reliquary Tower, no maximum high hand signs. Khan's Bastion for the proliferating. Um, then Inventor's Fair acting as a as really my only tutor because I'm primarily rely on all the cantripping and drawing that I get from my other spells. Then a Myriad's Landscape, Evolving Wilds, and Terramorphic Expanse. I've had people say, oh, replace those with definitely the Terramorphic and Evolving, saying replace them with an island. It's a small extra thinning that I get at that I actually somewhat prefer. Then Mystic Sanctuary, get back an instant sorcery that I might need. Um, and another blue sauce. The rest of these, Temple of the Force God and Gearless Commons, Mana Ramp, though I might want to switch up to Gearless Commons. Haven't had too much luck with it. And then Mikokoro, Center of the Sea, and Gaia Reach Sanitarium. It's more draw. That's the biggest thing. So that is my Kami of the Crescent Moon deck. I've had quite a bit of fun with it over the years, and I would almost and a lot of people definitely when forced playing it, it's like, oh yeah, he's just dawdling there, or oh yeah, I'm not gonna pay too much attention. Then out of nowhere, I've quite literally just, and I've just won out. Or if playing people that might have played me prior, I was like, target him, target Hare. That's who we should target down first. So it's like, okay. But needless to say, that's the deck. If you actually want to see a proper deck list, leave it down in the comments down below. Oh, and I'll get around to actually making one up. As always, I'm AHareOverAHill. If you want, um, leave a comment of what you may want to see out of me in the future. As always, see you around.